Hello there. In today's video I'm going to do a very early prediction of each of the top leagues starting up now very soon in the next couple of weeks. Can't wait. Such as the Premier League, and also we'll try for Scotland, Germany, France, Spain, Italy, etc. And I'm going to give a very early prediction of who I think will win, who I think will qualify for Champions League, and who I think will be relegated. And I say it's very early because obviously we haven't seen all of the transfers yet, and we haven't seen exactly all of the new managers settle into their new jobs and lots of other things. So I am willing to be totally wrong about these things, and I'm not going to be dying on any hills today. But I am going to give a little bit of an early prediction of some of my initial thoughts about how things will go and how things will finish at the end of this upcoming season. This is Welsh ASMR D2. Hey, how you doing? I hope you enjoy this football-related video in an ASMR style, nice and calm and relaxing, after what has possibly been a hard day. Okay, Premier League, let's start off with that. For the purpose of this, I'm actually going to reflect on what happened at the end of last season and say if I think things will repeat or improve or get worse for certain teams. So we saw a couple of shocks. I mean, Liverpool really underachieved. Aston Villa did brilliantly. Bournemouth, Sunderland, and I think Brighton overachieved as well. And then we had Chelsea, Newcastle, Crystal Palace and Spurs, and then I'm going to include West Ham in this, really underachieved as well. So what I think will happen with these teams in the new season, well, I think Arsenal are going to be a team that is going to be right in the conversation. As for Manchester City, I don't know. I don't have a very positive feeling towards Enzo Maresca. I don't think he did a brilliant job at Chelsea. I thought sometimes he looked great, and then other times he just sort of dropped off. I remember times when he was in charge of Chelsea where I thought, I think I said in a video, I think Chelsea are going to have a title run this year, and then they didn't win for 10 games or something. So I really don't know, and they have had a large amount of players leave and a couple of new players come in, so this settling down time for that new group of players, new manager. How do you follow Pep Guardiola? It's impossible to sort of do as well as he's done. So I don't know, I don't want to say they're not going to have a top 2-3 finish, but equally I can see a scenario or situation in which they finish outside of the top 5. But because Enzo Maresca is so up and down, will he even last till Christmas if he argues with the wrong people? So yeah, I'm not totally convinced about how Man City's season's going to go, particularly if, Real Madrid pop up with Jose Mourinho and go, hey Haaland, want to come play next to Bellingham? So we'll see what happens, but I am not putting all of my faith. I'm not betting on Manchester City to have a title run this year just yet. I'll make up my mind in the first couple of weeks of the season, but even then, Enzo Maresca, it might go horribly wrong in January, you don't know. Manchester United, they haven't strengthened that well yet, have they, in the summer? And whenever they've had a coach come in, remember when Solskjaer came in, did brilliantly, they gave him a contract, and then he was just meh. So, I don't know with Carrick, will his... was that luck? Was it just a happy bounce after a very poor period under the last manager? I don't know. I'm not sure. Have they got the team to compete? I mean, they came third last season, but was that because Liverpool had a bad season, as did Chelsea, as did Newcastle? I can't say really. They were 14 points behind Arsenal. So I'm not sure about Man United either. I think they could finish in a Champions League spot, but I'm not massively convinced yet. Aston Villa, this is a tricky one, because they started last season really poorly and then really, really picked up. But I think Emery's going to lose his set-piece coach, if he's not gone already, to Chelsea. He's lost Morgan Rogers. So I'm a little bit worried about that side of things. I think they're already being weakened a little bit there. And what I'm also considering in the back of my mind is that Liverpool, I think, are going to have a much better season. Obviously, they've got Iraola in. They were clearly dealing with Jota and the backlash from that. You know, the feelings of all the players losing such an absolutely loved player in the summer. Salah had a little bit of a wobbly. He wasn't playing well enough to be picked first team, and he sort of went out in the press and talked about it, and was not very helpful, to be honest. So I think Liverpool had a really difficult season. I don't really think much of it was Slot's fault. So I think Iraola coming in, fresh new start, new players. They're going to spend a lot of money, and I think Liverpool should really be thought of as a title contender for next season. I hope I don't eat my words, but I do think that they're probably one of the more likely ones to challenge Arsenal, considering that the two Manchester clubs, I'm not sure where they're at the minute. And I would actually put Chelsea in that bracket as well. I think that they've spent big money already, and they seem to have a bit of a plan. They've also got Xabi Alonso, who I highly rate. He had a rough time at Real Madrid, but there were just too many egos in that dressing room for him to enact his plan. I think because Chelsea's team's a bit younger, that he might be able to do it more successfully there. But I personally, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to die on this hill or anything, but I think it might be an Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea title battle this year, with the two Manchester teams hovering around trying to get 4th and 5th place. I can see, for many reasons, England getting the 5th spot for the Champions League again because of the coefficiency ranking. I think Arsenal will probably have a pretty good run in the Champions League again. Not sure about the two Manchesters, but Liverpool will, and I think Aston Villa, even previously when they qualified for the Champions League, did excellently. So I think that they will have a good run in Europe, all of them. I don't know about Bournemouth, Sunderland and Brighton in Europe. It's sometimes difficult for clubs like that, with smaller squads, to manage the 2 games a week in Europe. So even though they are clearly brilliant, you know, who do they play on a Saturday or on a Sunday, when they've already played on a Thursday? So that might be a bit tricky for them. Fulham, new manager there. Not sure what they're going to be like. They've lost Wilson obviously as well, and Jimenez. So I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about them actually. We'll see. Newcastle, they've lost already one of their best players. They might lose their second best player. I think they're not really recruiting quickly enough. I hope not, because I love Newcastle, but I think it might be another underwhelming season, unfortunately, and if so, I think Eddie Howe might be gone by Christmas. I might be wrong. Everton have got big ambitions, but they're always, I don't know, I never want to really back them for Europe. Brentford, it'll be so interesting to see how the manager does in his second season, because obviously he's completely overachieved in his first season. I said they would be relegated. Let's see. I don't want to say anything because I did not see how well this season went for them. I did not see that coming. Leeds, I'm hoping they'll have like a mid-season performance, particularly because they got Harry Wilson and all the Welsh players now. We'll see. They recruited quite well. They got a new centre-back as well, didn't they? I think they could do quite well, but not like into Europe well. I think they could be up here. Maybe they'll be sort of in the conversation. We'll see. Crystal Palace I am worried about with the change in manager, and they just don't seem to recruit as well at the moment. And obviously they've qualified for Europe again through winning the Conference League. So it might be a situation of them struggling, as they sort of have this year, but also with a new manager. Nottingham Forest, I think we sort of are used to them in this area. Spurs have recruited brilliantly. I don't want to say it too loud, because the last 2 seasons they've come 17th, haven't they? But I have to say the recruitment this summer has been fantastic so far. I don't want to get your hopes up, guys, but maybe you can get into Europe. I really don't think they'll be in this area again. The only thing is the manager, De Zerbi. Can he do it for a whole season? I think that's the recruitment's been excellent. They've spent so much money. Beggars the question why they haven't done this before. I suppose is because, answering my own question, they are under different managerial sort of reigns now up top. But yeah, we'll see what De Zerbi does. But they could actually get back to playing quite a nice, attractive, attacking football under him. But I was keeping an eye on him when he was at Marseille, and to be honest, they have resources in Marseille to do brilliantly, and he wasn't always, they really should be second every year going for the title, but he wasn't always there. So I hope it's not an underwhelming season for them. And then you've got the 3 new teams. Now obviously every time there's new teams, Ipswich, Hull and Coventry, you've got to really hope for them, haven't you? We'll see how they do, but I wouldn't be hugely shocked if all 3 went straight back down. Don't want to be nasty, but yeah, if it was like a West Ham coming up, or someone with a lot of money like a Birmingham or a Wrexham, you'd think, alright, they can spend big and, really make a go of this. But I'm not convinced that those 3 have the spending power required, particularly Hull, who weren't even in the picture for some time, and I've had to sell players in order to balance the books. So good luck to all 3 teams. Okay, Premiership in Scotland. I am thinking, I'll think away because it's not going to load. I'm thinking that it's probably going to be a 2-horse race. Again, with what's happened pre-season for Hearts, I don't really see them mounting a title challenge this year. They've lost their striker, their talisman, and their manager to Rangers. So Rangers are going to really push for the title this year. Celtic obviously by default are in first place for it, but it'd be really nice if we saw another story like that happening. Can Hibs do it this year? Can Motherwell do it this year? We'll have to see, but obviously last year's title challenge really got me into Scottish football, so I hope to be watching it a lot more this year, and I hope it's not a 2-horse race as it has been for the last couple of years, or decades I should say. Bundesliga. Okay, so obviously Bayern are going to be in the conversation for a title. Can anyone stop them? Maybe. Borussia Dortmund came second by a long way, but showing progress. They have sold a couple of players already. I haven't kept on track of who they've bought though. Let's have a quick look. Fabio Silva. Oh, that was last year though. Yeah, so I don't know. I want to hear a little bit more from them in the transfer market. Leipzig might lose a lot of their players. I wouldn't be shocked if Stuttgart's striker, someone tried to grab him, particularly Bayern, who usually snap up the best players in the Bundesliga and steal them for themselves. But I would think that some teams will have a better season. I think Hamburg will probably be higher up next year. I think Frankfurt will probably be higher up next year as well. Really surprised with Hoffenheim, didn't see that coming. Freiburg I can understand, and Leverkusen as well. I think Stuttgart are regularly in that conversation now of having, maybe they won't have Champions League next year, but I think they're good enough for a European spot for the next couple of years, to be honest. Augsburg had a very surprising season. I hope that continues because I love their shirts. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think that, with Germany, you get the odd surprise, but Bayern are never a surprise, are they? And I hope we have more of a title race next year. Okay, Serie A, which was a little bit of a surprise. Talking about surprises, Inter had a really poor start to the season. I think they lost 3 of their first 4 games and then just ran away with it. Now Napoli have got 1 or 2 issues. I think their manager resigned, didn't he, at the end of the season. Who have they got in? Oh, Allegri. Now I don't like him and I don't like his style, but usually it works. But will it be... because he counter-attacks, doesn't he? He doesn't really like attacking, and I'm not sure if the sort of Neapolitans will like that. I do think it's Massimiliano Allegri's aim to have managed every single team that's ever played in Serie A at some point. But yeah, we'll see how they do. I don't think they'll finish second in the coming season under Allegri. I just don't think his football, his play-it-safe football, really lends itself to having a stunning season. Roma, we'll see. We're spending money. We've re-signed Paulo Dybala, which is excellent, and we're trying to get wingers in, but all the wingers we've gone for, like Somerville, have been snatched by someone else. So we have lost our first couple of targets, but at least we didn't go for Mason Greenwood, so that's a relief. And we didn't get Garnacho either, who I do not rate at all. Como, well, Como are a tiny club, right? And this is only like the second time in Serie A in a couple of decades, but they are the richest club in Italy, so if they want to spend, and they've got Cesc Fabregas as their manager, they can spend. So if they spend loads of money this season, this off-season, which I don't know whether they have, then, you know, they can get quite a lot of players in. There's a player for 5 million on loan, free transfer. Nico Paz has properly signed then, has he? Alvaro Morata. I think they need to do a little bit better in the transfer window at the moment. We'll see. They play some nice stuff though. I think Milan obviously would be furious that they finished outside of the Champions League. Who's their new manager? Oh, Ruben Amorim. Yeah, I don't rate him after Man United. I liked him obviously in Portugal. We'll see. Milan's a difficult club to manage at the minute. They've not got a very good balance of their players. Lots of stars, but they're not really playing that well. Juve, who's managing them? Because I think that's where Allegri was for a bit. Oh, Spalletti. Yes, that's right. I think Juve will do better this year. Atalanta are sort of, without Gasperini, are in this sort of... Oh, Sarri's gone there from Lazio. Oh, they should do better then. And who's Lazio's manager? Everyone just has swapped around. Gattuso, I do not rate him at all. I think it's going to be another hard season for Lazio. And Fiorentina, I think, should have a better season. But who have they got in now? Fabio Grosso. Okay. Interesting. And Bologna, they've sacked their manager as well, haven't they? Yeah, Tedesco. I do rate Tedesco, actually. Okay, so there's been all change. I think Roma are one of the only teams that have kept their manager by the looks of it. Oh, and Kivu's still at Inter. So yeah, it's just us two. So for stability, Roma and Inter. I'm not going to predict a Roma title challenge, do not worry. But I think you will be back in the picture. Atalanta, if they got Sarri. And I think Napoli will probably be there. Not sure about Milan at the minute though. Okay, the Serie A. Eredivisie, I think... Oh, Adam Den Haag back in. I think it's probably going to be PSV and Feyenoord again, but Ajax will try and do better this season. Really excited to see how Nijmegen cope with European football of some description. I don't think they'll get into the Champions League, but I'm dying to see them play because they play this like extreme high pressing, like everyone just attacking, even defenders football. It's really exciting, so I think it'll be more of the same in the Eredivisie, hopefully under the new managerial, who they've got in actually, because forever manager has just retired. Anthony Correa, never heard of him. I hope Utrecht have a good year to get back into Europe. Okay, Ligue 1. Angers back in the league. Nice won in the playoff then, so they managed to stay up. They're a big club, they need to have a much better season. And Marseille only finished 5th. They need to do a lot better. Who's their manager now? Genesio. I don't know much about him. Lens, I'd be shocked if they did another title challenge, particularly on top of Champions League football, but well done to them. Lille have got good resources, they should have a good season. I'm expecting Lyon really to come a little bit higher, and it's lovely to see Rennes doing so well, but I also think that Monaco and maybe Strasbourg will get into the Champions League. We'll see, it depends on the relationship with Chelsea with Strasbourg, doesn't it? Like, are they going to steal any of their players or any of their managers? Who is managing them now? Hugo Oliveira. I don't know him. If he does quite well, he might be Chelsea manager by Christmas, you never know. Yeah, but I think, Lyon, Marseille and Monaco would probably be fighting with Lille over the Champions League places, and Paris Saint-Germain. Lens did a brilliant job of keeping it to 6 points, but they are a cut above the rest in this league, unfortunately. Okay, La Liga. I think it's always the same as Barcelona, Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid do have a really good chance to win it this season. Barcelona obviously are recruiting, but Real Madrid really heavily recruiting, new manager. We'll see how they do, but one of the things they've done is they've shored up their defence. So they managed to get in Aureli Cucurella. They got Bernardo Silva for midfield, Denzel Dumfries who will play on the right wing-back position. And then obviously Arda Güler is only getting better. They might lose Vinicius Junior this summer, we'll see. And yeah, Mastantuono will only get better as well, so that's an excellent team. It should be a really, really good title race between these two teams this year, I think. I think that under the influence of Jose Mourinho, they've got Adeyemi in, and obviously their young players are only going to get better. Frankie de Jong has got a nasty injury though. Yeah, early October, he won't be back till. And they've got Anthony Gordon in as well. Yeah, and Yamal's, not getting any worse, is he? And then after that, I would probably expect Atletico Madrid to be right up there. I'd love to see someone else get into a Champions League spot. I mean, we saw Real Betis this year. Villarreal don't seem to do much when they get up there, unfortunately. We'll see. The last year they really flunked in the Champions League. Hopefully they have a better season. I personally would love to see a Celta Vigo get into the Champions League, see the return of Valencia, maybe a Real Sociedad, and hopefully to get Rayo Vallecano back into Europe as well. Getafe were the sort of surprise package, they could do quite well, but I think Athletic Club, Sevilla is a massive club. They shouldn't be in this area of the league at all. So yeah, those two clubs need to do a lot better, but I'd love to see Valencia get back into it and get European football again. But it'll probably be a sort of Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid top 3 as usual. Okay, I'm going to finish there. I'm not going to go through all the leagues, but I will do another sort of prediction closer to the date, and we will start doing results videos as soon as all the big leagues start. I hope you've enjoyed listening to my random rambles, and maybe you totally disagree with me. Let me know in the comment section. Educate me if I've missed some massive transfer that's going to affect how a club operates this year. I'd love to know. And if you really enjoyed the video, then give it a like. If you're new, subscribe. This is called FOT Mob, by the way. I get asked that question more than anything else. FOT Mob. And yeah, I will see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone, and bye.